Chapter 3. The Three Kinds of Men: Alpha Males, Beta Male Nice Guys, and Jerks. Section 1. The Beta Male Nice Guy. When I was growing up, my mom, aunts, and other older ladies always told me that to get a girlfriend, I would need to be a nice guy. I'd need to constantly buy a girl flowers, give her gifts, and take her out to eat. Wow, I thought, I'll need to have a really great job so I can have all that money to spend. And unfortunately, I internalized their advice. All through high school and college, I tried to be the nice guy, the one girls supposedly wanted. Girls would always say how much they appreciated what I did, but the most action I ever got was a kiss on the cheek. Then in college and beyond, the advice changed. All of a sudden, it was common knowledge that to be successful with women, you needed to act like an asshole rather than a nice guy. I tried that advice out and found that when I acted like a jerk, some women did in fact respond to me more. However, I still didn't get the success that I wanted. Though I did get to have my first sexual relationship, it was with a low self-esteem head case. And I still had problems with so many girls preferring other guys to me. So I took a good, hard look at the guys who were successful with women, the ones who weren't, and the ones in between, and I figured out that there are really three classes of men, and there's definitely a pecking order from a woman's perspective. At the bottom of the list are the nice guys, who make up the majority of the male population. The nice guy is a man who basically pleads for sex. He shows up at a woman's doorstep with flowers, drives her to a fancy restaurant, and buys her filet mignon with fine wine. Then, after he takes her home, he gets blue balls because she doesn't even invite him in. And the hell of it is, he doesn't learn from this. He's back using the same tactics on the very next woman. And you want to know what's really ironic here? Believe it or not, women consider nice guys to be manipulative. It's quite obvious to the woman why the nice guy buys her so many things. They're only after one thing is a common mantra that women repeat about nice guys. However, she thinks he might possibly have good relationship potential for her, so she may keep him on the back burner and eventually have sex with him. And boy, does she make him wait a long time. Some women set 3 dates as the minimum, which is like winning the lottery for nice guys, since many other women make guys wait months until they can, quote, get lucky. And when the sex does come, it's a huge event and the woman makes a big deal about it. Hopefully the man doesn't have a high sex drive, because he won't be able to get sex whenever he wants. He's going to have to accept it on her terms when she happens to be in the mood. So why don't nice guys succeed? The problem with the nice guy is that not only do women consider him manipulative, they also see him as boring. The nice guy talks about logical things like foreign policy or how a car engine operates. Sometimes he brags about himself and how much money he makes, implying that he can buy things for the woman. How lame, she thinks. Engaging in logical conversation and trying to impress a woman with your smarts and earning potential is a mistake that the vast majority of guys make. It kills a woman's attraction for you because it communicates neediness and low value. If you weren't seeking her approval, you wouldn't be trying to impress her. If you instead were a man of high value, an alpha male, then she would be the one seeking your approval. The other problem, of course, is that women who are engaged in the mating ritual with a guy absolutely loathe logical conversation. The problem is that it snaps the woman out of her trance. So refrain from talking about that article on Chinese trade policies you read in The Economist until you're hanging out with your male buddies. Don't misunderstand me though. You should not pretend to be some kind of idiot around girls. In fact, women find it attractive when a guy is an expert in something. What you do, however, is make sure to talk about interesting things within your area of expertise, not mind-numbing things. In fact, something you should begin immediately, if you haven't done this already, is to become an expert in something. It doesn't matter what: real estate, rock music, South Park trivia, religion, history, architecture, art, celebrities, TV shows, movies, astrology, etc. A man who's an expert is automatically an alpha male in that area. Just make sure to captivate her with the knowledge you share. Don't bore her. When sharing facts, ask yourself, would this information be on Ripley's Believe It or Not? Or would it be something that a dull college professor would say? Girls just want to have fun, as the song goes, and a nice, boring guy ain't fun. Go to places where singles congregate, and you can perform an interesting people-watching exercise by checking out the couples that you see. If the girl looks bored or is constantly chatting on her cell phone, then she's with her boyfriend. That's because her boyfriend is a nice guy who isn't playful with her and doesn't excite her. If, on the other hand, she's laughing and looks like she's having a good time, then what you're seeing is most likely a pickup attempt by an alpha male. Notice too that the alpha male picking up a woman has an easy rapport with her. The two of them talk as if they've known each other for a long time. The problem with being the nice guy is the mindset that it springs from. A man supplicating to a woman is doing it out of insecurity and desperation for her approval and sexual attention. Want to lay hot chicks? Then keep this first and foremost in mind. The quickest and easiest way to kill any attraction a woman may be starting to feel for you is to feel insecure about yourself, or to be needy, or to seek approval. When you have the mindset of being desperate to please, you end up coming on too strong, too early. You become clingy. It's like you're begging. There's an old saying about banks. They only want to loan you money when you're loaded already. If you genuinely need the money, then you can forget it. It's the same thing with girls and sex. Girls only want to have sex with you if you're having sex already. If you genuinely need sex, then you can forget it. Chapter 3, Section 2. The problem with being her, quote, friend. Have you ever settled for being friends with a girl, orbiting around her as the months go by, hoping she will eventually fall for you? Lots of guys do this, particularly the shyer ones. These guys end up acting as emotional tampons for women. They listen attentively as their female friends tell them about what jerks the real men in their lives are. Believe me, I've been there. The low point came when a female friend of mine, whom I had a massive crush on, wanted me to come hang out with her at her apartment. Awesome, I thought. This was the moment I've been waiting for, right? Not quite. We sat in her living room, and like a nice guy, I followed her agenda, which included spending a good 2 hours meticulously going over everything that her next-door neighbor, a druggy bartender, said to her at lunch that day. He laughed and called me silly. "Do you think he likes me?" she asked. I did the best I could. I told her I thought he was a jerk and that she could do better. I gave her all the legitimate, logical reasons why I thought that was true. She told me she agreed with me. By the way, girls with the wrong guy will always agree that he's wrong. Then, of course, they ignore it and go on to have sex with those, quote, wrong guys, as she did. If there's any justice in the world, eventually women will come around to liking the nice guys. Truth be told, sometimes they do, usually when they're older. By that point, however, they've usually already had kids by some jerk who bailed on them and the kids, and the thought of settling down with a weak-willed man who will stick around and bring in a steady paycheck is starting to have an appeal to her. Women just simply don't like spineless men for more than friends, and when you act like a nice guy and follow the woman's agenda and defer to her to make decisions, she doesn't respect you. Nice guys want the woman to decide where they go to eat and when they have sex. They have no clue that that deference automatically drops them down into the permanent just friends category. And that's why the nice guy doesn't get laid. Like I said, women don't like to take responsibility for sex. You, as the man, need to take that responsibility and lead the way. That's what women want you to do, and believe me, they love it when you do. Chapter 3, Section 3, Avoiding the Beta Male Mindset. In addition to being too indecisive, nice guys also tend to be passive-aggressive. Women are often being passive-aggressive themselves, thus they are turned off when that particular trait is exhibited in a man. What's passive-aggressive? It's being passive until you've been pushed too far, then suddenly turning aggressive. Ever had a woman who expected you to read her mind and then got mad when you read it wrong? That's passive-aggressive. Rather than hit the middle ground between passive and aggressive, which is assertive, the nice guy will constantly give in and do whatever the woman wants. When the woman finds this unattractive and eventually leaves him for a more exciting guy, the nice guy will complain about how he did everything for her. And therein lies the problem. Nice guys also have issues with jealousy, born out of their insecurity. They are too outwardly dependent. All their happiness comes from the woman. They don't want her talking to other guys for fear she'll run off and he'll lose his only source of happiness. You see, the problem with the feelings of jealousy that so many beta males have about their women is that it comes from a position of neediness. So whenever you feel that way with a girl, suck it up and let those feelings go. When a woman detects a guy is jealous, it's as if he's saying to her, "Hey, I feel inferior to those other dudes you're talking to." And having that lack of confidence in yourself makes the chick not feel so confident in you either. She begins to wonder whether the grass is greener in other pastures. I know it's tough to not feel jealous, but look at it this way. If you knew that you were the shit and that you can attract hot babes and get laid easily, would you care that your girl is going off and talking to some other guys? Of course not, because that would be her loss, and you could just get laid from some other chick. Okay, so here's a new attitude I want you to adopt. I am developing into a high-value alpha male. Keep repeating that to yourself throughout the day as an affirmation. By the way, you're probably still wondering what you should actually do if the girl you're trying to get with is talking to other dudes. Well, the absolute worst thing you can do, ironically, is to try to intervene to stop her from doing it. That makes it so that she has the higher value, not you. Instead, the best way to counter such behavior is to say, "Okay, have a good time," with a tone of complete indifference when she says she's going to go hang out with some other guy. Let her see that it doesn't faze you one bit. Meanwhile, you go talk with other girls. That turns the tables so that now she's the one worrying about whether you'll leave her for the competition. That sets you up as having the higher value. Another way to avoid ever becoming upset at a woman's behavior is to not take individual women too seriously, or put much concern in what they're thinking. Being overly concerned with a woman's thoughts and feelings is a waste of time, because the bottom line is you can't control what a woman thinks or feels. You can only control yourself. Instead of taking women too seriously, which gives them power over you, making you needy and unattractive, just view them as collective sources of fun and pleasure in your life. That's it. In order to have a spine with women instead of being a pushover, I have something for you to try. Next time you're with a woman, try to say no to her at some point. Saying no can be powerful with women, but do it in a soft way like this. She says to you, "Let's go rent a movie." You say, "No, not yet. Let's go in about an hour." By saying no, you establish your authority and set yourself up as a challenge for the woman. If she views you as a challenge, then she will be excited by you instead of bored. If you say yes to everything your woman suggests, then she will soon be saying no to you, and in the worst place of all, the bedroom. What you need to know, most of all, is that women resent any sort of neediness. The alpha male is exciting to women because his happiness comes from within, so he doesn't burden her with any responsibility for his emotional state. Let me stress one thing here. Your inner state is key with women. For them to see you as lovable, you have to first love yourself. You have to have passion for your life, and you've got to go for what you want. There are way too many nice guys out there who are down on themselves and insecure. That's why when it comes to love, nice guys really do finish last. Chapter 3, Section 4, The Jerk. On a middle level, above the nice guy, is the asshole, or jerk. For the most part, assholes appeal to women more than nice guys because at least assholes aren't boring. Though the asshole creates an emotional roller coaster of drama with his girlfriend, at least the girl is getting the emotional high points of the ride along with those low points. In other words, he may make her cry, but he also makes her giggle. And the uncertainty of which it's going to be does create some excitement in her life. Here's what you need to get about women. In order to be sexually turned on, women need to tune into their emotions instead of their logic. The nice guy makes the fatal mistake of appealing to a woman's logic, whereas the one good thing the jerk does do is to appeal to a woman's emotions. Jerks get laid because they get women turned on by being so persistent and then going for the lay. They are sexually aggressive, unlike the nice guys who are sexually passive. While the jerk creates negative emotions within women, at least they are still creating emotions, as opposed to the nice guy who bores women. However, it's not all good for the jerks. The types of women who go for jerks are mainly head cases who have low self-esteem, depression, and other emotional issues. Such women often act weird and insecure when it comes to relationships, so they're really not the kind of women a well-adjusted man would want to go for in any case. Though jerks get laid, I'm not suggesting that you become a jerk. The good news is that there's an even higher level of men, whom I call the alpha males, who induce positive emotions within women with no real negatives. Chapter 3, Section 5, The Alpha Male. In society, alpha males are the leaders. People look up to them. The alpha male is confident, socially powerful, outgoing, fun, a leader, secure in himself, has high self-esteem, and is a guy who has his shit together. He's able to joke around with women and be playful. When a woman says something sarcastic or mean, the beta male gets offended, while the alpha male laughs about it because he knows girls are like his silly little sisters. And when a woman later regrets her mean comment and learns it was really no big deal to the alpha male, she feels that much more attracted to him. Many social interactions that we engage in have subcurrents of dominance and submission. Studies of social situations have found that dominant people will mark their territory in various nonverbal ways, such as taking up space with their bodies, using a louder voice, controlling conversations, and using strong eye contact. People around the alpha male tend to get sucked into his reality because he's interesting and makes them feel comfortable at the same time. The alpha male doesn't feel possessive or jealous over women because he isn't needy. He also doesn't smother women by putting them up on a pedestal. Because of this, he knows that any woman would be lucky to have him, so if any one particular woman doesn't go for him, then that's her loss, not his. In contrast, the beta male is nervous, has low social status, is typically a follower rather than a leader, usually feels secretly resentful of successful guys, has low self-esteem, and is clingy and desperate with women. True confession, I used to be beta. I was depressed and resentful. I wanted a girlfriend because I thought having one would make my life worth living. Once I got a girl and was able to have as much sex as I wanted, I thought, my life would now become wonderful. It wasn't until later that I learned that I had this exactly backwards. It wasn't until I developed myself from within and had a life worth living that I then started attracting the awesome girlfriends who I've had over the years and the wonderful woman who I'm currently in a relationship with. In the next chapter, I'm going to share with you some of my secrets on how you can affect the behaviors and mindset of an alpha male.